Welcome, folks, to Muck on the Markets. I'm Bob Lehman, your omnipresent host, or something like that. Anyway, we got Muck in here. Muck, pretty volatile markets here. Yesterday was an interesting day. Dropped over 500 and something points, 550, I think, over 550. Then came back, then sold off a little into the close. I thought it was very interesting that I think you saw short covering and margin calls about the same time yesterday. Any thoughts?
Yeah, with with the volatility that's going on in these markets, I think it'd be easy to see a lot of people get hit those margin requirements and have to put up more capital or get out of positions. Especially with the vol's been crazy. The one day we're up. CNBC posted it a couple of days ago. For as much as they're really worth, which is nothing in my opinion. But Chatter, I have them on in the background, so I can't really, because I don't want to pay extra for Bloomberg.
It's not on your system?
No, I gotta pay extra for that. But they put up Time Warner.
Oh, geez.
But they put up a chart. It was like it's like every day we've either been up, triple digits, down triple digits, except for like a couple small days where they're like, and then those days were like up 17, down 25. It's really weird. It's either like we're not moving or like we're moving in a polar direction, which is it's great for traders, right? But it's bad for anyone who's using leverage risk. You're definitely not having a fun time on any of that spectrum.
Well, I think a couple thoughts on things that you said there. One, volatility has been very muted during this whole the whole new year. It's really moved very slightly. Nothing like it did back in August, and certainly nothing, I guess, like it did the prior year when Ebola hit. It's been very muted, which is interesting to me. The second thing is, the markets. I don't know if it was the Fed coming in and doing some operations yesterday to bid it up. I already saw a fairly knowledgeable person in my stream today say that when this market was down over 250. Then went back down to down 150 or less, and then it bounced right back up to down up about 180. Now again, it's down. It's only up 136 or 140. I just sold out 3/4 of a short that I had put on before in the SPY. But it's interesting markets. I think your point is well taken. That for the outside observer that's not in these markets, it's they just look at the tape at the end of the day and say, hey, what happened to my stocks that I own. But intraday, it's been quite tumultuous and very.
Yeah. I think I pointed out in the chat room yesterday that Exxon briefly hit around 66 and change.
Exxon did?
Yeah. That's. I pulled up the chart because I was just looking at it.
Was I taking my nap?
And it had a big down swipe on it, and then it bounced right back up on heavy.
Was there a flash crash?
I don't know because I pulled it up like towards the end of the day when I generally check stuff that I'm looking at. Now let me see if I can bring it up on the chart right now.
I didn't see any mention of it. And in one of my long-term accounts, I am long Exxon. They're full of cash. I was looking for a bounce in crude. We've kind of gotten a bounce today earlier in the midst of kind of cooking, so I don't know. I guess we're below 30 again. Down to 29.71 is what I see on my screen.
Yeah, maybe that was a bad print that I got on a thing, but I swear I saw it. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I
So
didn't see that happen.
I'm looking at Google Finance and I'm not seeing it, but I saw it on my TOS, my
Yeah,
mobile TOS.
you might have got a bad feed there. You never know.
Yeah.
It happened.
Um, but I mean, I mean, I think it with with oil. I mean, oil's kind of funny at this point. I mean, to me, was reading some articles that Iran can produce a barrel of oil for under a dollar, like for a dollar, around $1.50 maybe.
No. I saw their marginal cost per barrel, and I don't know how accurate this is. Because I think I even saw it on TV. We're about $15 a barrel,
15.
whereas the Saudis were at 10 or 11.
Because I read an article on Seeking Alpha that said the Kurds can do it for a dollar, and that Iran is somewhere around there because of their crap. It's so bad, like the infrastructure is so bad and the technology is so bad. Um, but I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know if there's anyone really in there to look at the numbers. I think maybe they're just saying it.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
you could be right. I mean, what we have is you've got a confluence of circumstances going on in crude that are just very odd. I mean, you had technological changes here in the States and in Canada as well that allowed them to generate a hell of a lot more oil out of places that were long thought dry.
yeah,
And now you have this Iranian oil being thrust upon the market. The Saudis have not only maintained production, they've actually increased production. So you're just getting a glut of oil onto the market. And
yeah. Which
I don't know what's happening. I mean, prices are low at the gas station.
well, I mean, everywhere if you unless you live in California, and then you're still screwed. I think I paid um 265, 275, somewhere around there.
For regular?
Yeah, 87.
Wow,
Um,
that's rough.
yeah, yeah. Welcome to the great state of California. With
But,
a guaranteed 36 cent tax. No matter what. Because we
well,
actually, actually,
that's an interesting political point that you raised there, Mark, regarding the tax on gas, which is to say they haven't raised it in a long time, but of course the EPA has been raising fuel standards, and of course California has its own fuel standards for its gasoline, which does make it a little bit more expensive anyway. But what you
well,
have here is mileage per gallon is going up, and they're selling less gas. So the government, which is already kind of caught in a spider's web, is really getting their head handed to them. They don't know their ass from the hole in the ground. But that's politics. Enough of that.
well,
Let's talk.
I mean,
Oh,
they are proposing, which I heard on the radio this morning, is that there be everyone gets something put in their car, and it's 1/2 cent per mile, and that you get taxed on that. Um, Essentially, it's making it so if you have like some kind of hybrid vehicle or something like that, then you are actually kind of screwed. Where if you have a thing, I think the break even is 20 miles per gallon. So anything over 20 miles per gallon, it hurts you. If you get less, it kind of helps you. But
is that the Oregon tax you're talking about?
well, yeah, Oregon's doing a trial run right now.
Right.
California's trying to do the same thing. They're trying to get 5,000 people to do it.
Yeah, I mean, these politicians, they don't have a clue. But anyway, I don't want to go off into that. Let's talk markets. Let's talk about two issues that you and I have been back and forth on, or two stocks, and that is Apple and Alcoa. Which one you want to hit first?
We can hit Alcoa first. That's fine.
Okay, Alcoa, nice bounce today.
Yeah.
Well off its highs, I think. I don't know what it got up. Let's see. I'll check what it got up to. I saw it at 721, 722. So it got up to 726.
Yeah.
Currently trading, I got it at 715, 716. but a real nice pop after they had come out with earnings, and I saw a CMT who I follow and who follows me talk about, Alcoa. He thought it was great and da 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 da. And the next day, I happened to be out, and I just was in line at a grocery store or something, and happened to check my Twitter and saw that he was lamenting what's going on with Alcoa, and I just basically said to him, I said, aluminum is dead.
Yeah.
I mean, at least the downstream business. That is in terms of downstream, I mean production. The upstream business, which you were really talking about, which is sales to, say, Boeing, aluminum can manufacturers, aluminum foil, da 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 da, cars, autos, which has increased, is still doing fairly well. But you got a real problem here, and I keep waiting to hear, and I have not seen an article about it. And you know that I am intimately involved with aluminum and very aware of what the heck's going on there. I haven't seen one article about Chinese dumping, but you can rest assured, with Foxconn already shut down, with their economy struggling, I bet dollars to donuts they are already dumping it in this market.
Well, Foxconn's trying to buy Sharp now, aren't they?
I saw something about that. I did not read it.
I didn't read it either, because they're always it seems like every day Foxconn's trying to buy someone new. So I kind of just did a whatever kind of thing. No, yeah, like I said, Alcoa around. I mean, I don't know. I think if you around anywhere under 7, like $6.50 to $5 is worth a flyer to me. I haven't taken that flyer yet. But I think I kind of have a very I don't have a random walk view of the market. I think the market is beatable. I don't think that everyone gets the same information at the same time. I don't. That's not how I see it. So with that being said, it all really depends on timetables. I do think a lot of things are cyclical. Like worldwide, I think some trends are cyclical, and I mean, if you think that we could get another, commodity super cycle, or ramp into another, go growth,
go gadget,
go growth decade, and I think aluminum's a play that you might want to hold. If you can't, if it doesn't fit your holding period, but also be fairly well that it could go bankrupt. I mean, when you're talking stocks under $7, I know people are like, well, it's Alcoa and it's been around for years, and decades, and it's one of the first stocks ever, blah blah. Yeah, but that's happened to a lot of companies, and they've gone under through either horrible management, not getting with the times. I mean, a lot of things.
Well, I think these are factors. You say what you will about Alcoa, and there are books and pages of criticisms about management before Klaus Klausfield, who's the current CEO, who I think came over from Siemens about now 8 years ago. But if you look at the competitors in the aluminum space, it's absolutely brutal. It is absolutely brutal. The consumer, this gas dividend that they have gotten for free, where gas was costing about $4 a gallon. I don't know, a year ago, and now it's down to under $2. It's unbelievable. But they're not spending it. Where it's going, I don't know.
Well, if you take anything stock to CNBC or anyone, Jim Cramer says that people are using it at mini marts on Cheetos, Doritos, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, that kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't see a lot of people using it. Yeah, maybe buy those wheat stocks. Maybe that's where it's going. I have no idea.
Which stock?
Buy those legalized marijuana stocks. Maybe that's where it's going.
Who the hell knows?
Money has to be going somewhere, right? Or unless we're all just hoarding it in our mattresses.
Yeah, well, let's talk FANG a little bit, and then we'll delve into Apple, because I still feel strongly about Apple, and I should mention that Apple has gone red while we're on here, and the Nasdaq Composite is actually going negative. I got it down about almost 5 points even right now.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I got about it.
But it's bad.
I mean, okay, so let's break it down simple, pretty much, when we talk about Apple. We get, uber complex with the, the billions that they have offshore and stuff like that. What it comes down with Apple is if you think that they can come up with a new product just as good as the iPhone, then that's where you want to be in. If you think that the iPhone 7 could go gangbusters like I kind of do, then that's where you want to be. In my opinion, I know we're at 96. $100 is another level. I think if we capture 100, I think we'll see about 115. This is generally how Apple tends to roll. When it breaks big numbers, you generally get kind of a big pop. But I mean, that's what it comes down to. Either you have faith in Apple being able to save themselves, or you don't. If you don't, you're not wanting to buy Apple or touch Apple until about $85 a share, somewhere around there. And then you're using it as the new Microsoft, and just rolling that dividend over and over again, which is fine in and of itself. If you think it still has growth now, then around 95, 96 is maybe where you want to start looking at building something. But it all depends on what you see. If the problem with Apple is that you're going to get so much information on one side saying how shit it is, and on the other side how great it is. So you're never going to be able to make up, a solid thesis for anything, because there's so much information on both sides.
Well, I mean, my theory of the case on Apple is that it's gone from this growth flyer to essentially a Microsoft. I mean, that's what I think. I don't know that. My understanding is where they're spending R&D money is in the Apple car, and I don't know where the hell that's going. But I keep getting messages that nobody can get in here, Muck. I don't know if everybody's going to have to watch it.
They can watch it on the YouTube channel, I guess. Then.
Yeah.
But I mean, I get, Apple is one of those things where it's either you're gonna have to make up your mind. I mean, you have three choices in Apple: you either long it, flat it, or you short it. I mean, you either think it's gonna fail and go down to about 85 and settle there between 85 and 75, somewhere in that range. That's where it's gonna crater. Or you think it's gonna crack the 100 and go, the 115, 130 range. Or you just don't want to play it. But you got to come up with your own opinion on it. No matter what, the problem with Apple is that no matter what opinion you make, you're gonna find research to support that. So yeah. Have fun. I like companies. That's kind of why I like the oil companies, because they're so hated. Anadarko Petroleum, kind of like EOG. I know me and you are big supporters of EOG. But I think oil can get beat up so much before it becomes a steal of a buy. I don't really think I don't think that matters, and I think that if we're really going to now, do I think that we're going to see $100 oil again? Not for a while. Maybe in 2 years. But do I think $50, $60 oil is foreseeable this year? Yeah, I mean, I think we can get there, and a lot of companies only need $50, $60 oil to make a lot of money.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, I've read a number of articles about Exxon being out there, it's just scooping up stuff all over the place.
Yeah,
they're buying all the so substantial interest in these distressed sellers.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, I mean, when we talk about distressed assets, I mean, I think everyone kind of knows that you know, I like to dumpster dive, play around the poop. Um,
I'm out of my spoo short finally. I
uh,
made nicely.
I
We're
think,
we're only up four handles.
yeah, I mean, this market's been a wild ride, and I think it's fun for an intraday person. Are heartbreaking for an intraday person, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah.
Um, but you want to talk about wild ride? Let's talk about Glencore International.
Oh my goodness. I know a lot
Um,
about Glencore. Go ahead.
that is a wild ride.
I haven't checked them at all today. Haven't read anything about them, but I know them quite well. I saw that uh, earlier this week they were near historic lows. I don't know if they broke those. I don't know what happened.
I got them at 72, 72.37 right now,
Yeah, I wonder what the price was.
and
Is that U.S. dollars or is
no,
that
that's what, I got that on the LON, so that has to be the London.
that's in Britain?
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I know talking to God, I hate mentioning him on the air and giving him credit, but someone talking to him in our chat, there is an ADR for Glencore, and you do get, I think, 2.5 shares of Glen for every one ADR share.
Huh.
But
Yeah.
that company is very interesting. I always find cases like this interesting. I feel like, I mean, they were the smartest guys in the room, and apparently they're not. I mean, but so was
Well, let's go back. Let's backtrack a little bit on Glencore. Glencore historically was a trading desk.
yeah,
They traded crude. I mean, basically commodities.
yeah,
And
and
then
they're great at it.
they decided in their infinite wisdom to go into the commodity business. They own a substantial stake, if not the majority owner of Century Aluminum, which is based in North Carolina, and they have substantial copper stakes. Now I know that they closed I think a couple of sites. I know at least one in Namibia, I believe. Um, but they are hurting for certain. And the problem is that they were facing having their credit rating reduced, which would significantly impact their trading activity. Because they're basically borrowing on the cheap for their trading activity. My understanding is they're still making money in their making a lot of money. Historically, these guys, and I know people intimately that have dealt with these people. They are smart MFers.
And ruthless.
But they are caught. So, I mean, if you're on the wrong side of some of these commodity trades, don't feel all that bad because these people in Switzerland are on the wrong side of this bad boy. Something fierce.
But did they also source their own stuff, like would go to Nigeria and, I mean, they're making money on that. Yeah, I mean, if you just look at FCX, Freeport Mac,
Oh,
and you look at Glencore, and these guys know what they're doing, but they're getting killed on it.
absolutely.
I would, I'm not a big commodities futures trader. I dabble in the crude. But platinum looks like, I don't know. I could see a platinum rally this year. I don't. I mean that would help out a lot of people, right? If you believe in the market goes to the most pain, then you probably are not going to see rallies in commodities. But I don't know. In my heart of hearts, I really believe that we're in some of these things we're hitting oversold territory. I could be wrong. I could get blown up on Twitter later about how wrong I am when it comes to commodity talk. But I don't know. I think I don't know. It just feels oversold in some things.
Well, I mean, I think a good argument exists for crude being oversold. But the market still has, I think, some significant way to go in terms of getting balanced in terms of all the supply that's coming on board. I don't even think they know what's all coming on board. You know, there was talk of all these ships, container ships offshore holding crude, holding Iranian crude. They were just waiting for the sanctions to get released last week. You know, I had heard 40 million barrels. I don't know if that's true. That doesn't mean anything to me, honestly. I just know it's a lot of crude when I think they generate about 400,000 gallons a day. I don't know. But it's a strange world out there. I mean, I think we're facing deflation. I mean,
Well,
let's get your general perspective on the market. I'll give you mine. Mine is I'm still relatively bearish.
yeah.
You know, I think we are in for a downdraft. I think we're facing deflation, and I don't see us doing well.
Well, I think enough people have watched this show to realize that you're the perma bear and I'm the perma bull. But I mean, I think there could be more pain in the market. I mean, if I woke up tomorrow and I saw the VIX at 40, I'd be a lot happier, right? I mean, realize that there was like some form of capitulation. I think I'm the only one on the planet that agrees with what the Fed is saying at this point of like, screw it, we're gonna keep raising rates. I understand the market's in the shitter since I've done it, but is that I mean,
I don't know that it's necessarily cause and effect.
Yeah, I don't think it is either, and I have a strange feeling thinking that if Europe is going to keep cutting rates like they are, right, and Japan's not really doing anything, and China's lowering rates. I mean, if we end the year at, I don't know, 75, you know, almost 1% interest rates, then doesn't money? I mean, yeah, the dollar is going to kill everything, but doesn't money have to flock to the U.S.? I mean,
well, I don't think we get to 1% by year end. I mean, I think the Fed waited too long to act, then felt compelled to do something because they had looked like they were just hesitant on the switch for so long. So they made this. I think the doves are going to raise their hackles. I don't think inflation is there. You know, not at least as they measure it. It may be in the grocery store, but I don't think it's there. So I think they're going to back off.
I have a question. If they I mean, they certainly can't cut, right? I think cutting would be.
People keep talking about it. Depends who you follow, I guess, on the Twitter.
I think if they cut it, it would be just it'd be a giant statement of that they have no fucking idea of what they're doing, and just an indictment to the system. Which, I mean, maybe we need it. Maybe we need to rewrite all the rule books. Maybe we just need to close down HFT and why do I need a TT trader on my computer? Like, maybe get rid of that and let's go back to the pit style. Like, let's take it old school style. I don't know. Maybe that would make it better. Maybe it wouldn't.
I don't know that that's going to help anything. I think so many of these things are built in now.
But I don't think that we're going to be in for the lost decade. At this point, I mean, a super like Japan style. I don't see. I think we can raise rates. Maybe we just need one giant market reset and reset, you know, everything back and then rebuild on legit earnings and real money for once instead of IPOing all these brand new companies that don't really do anything and having them be like the 6th biggest company in the planet.
Yeah. Well, how about Square? How about Square? You know, I was an owner of Square for quite some time, but far north of where it's at now. Let's see where it's at. Under $10.
But I mean, you know, Square has a great concept, and that's great and everything. They don't make a lot of money.
No, they don't. And they have competitors coming in too.
But I think that the ultimate problem is that so many people, like, it's become like the new hip thing to do. It's like, oh, I'm a angel investor in this company. I own blah blah blah, and buying markets on like the shadow IPO market and some of that. But these companies aren't doing anything.
No. Well,
When
let's
you used
talk
to have
about
to be a
companies.
legit company to come out with legit earnings. Like, ever since the .com, we've kind of thrown that away. Maybe that's the next bubble.
Well, let's talk about something else that's really catching my attention today, and that is banks. The big banks. Goldman, you look at Goldman's chart for the last 6 months or a year, it looks like absolute hell. And it's down again today.
It's almost as
Bank
bad
of,
as IBM.
Bank America, well, IBM, my brother has been short IBM for 2 years and was like banging the table on it. I'm not.
But Goldman is almost as bad as IBM. But the problem is that last time I was in New York, I was talking to some guys who ran the trade book for Deutsche, and they were very, 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 very worried. And the phrase that I heard a lot from them was, quote, "We can't make any money. We can't make any money. Our balance sheet keeps growing. We can't make any money." These are their in-house traders worried about how big their balance sheet is growing, how big their balance sheet has to get, and they can't make any money. I don't think a lot of people want to. I think a lot more people need to come out and say it. But Dodd-Frank has hamstrung the crap out of banks.
Dodd-Frank never did what it was intended to do. It was pieced together by Chris Dodd, who's an absolute scumbag. Absolute scumbag. He was a scumbag the entire time he was in the U.S. Senate. His father was a criminal, went down. He acceded to the seat. He basically shut down any real reforms that were planned under Dodd-Frank. It's a bureaucratic fucking disaster area.
But
That's what it is.
But if you look at it, I mean, their balance sheets keep growing, right? And they don't have that prop desk anymore to. I mean, that's if you think about it. I mean, they're broker dealers, right? So they have inventory, right? Well, the prop desk used to have. So if they got too much of one inventory, the prop desk could go opposite that, and they have almost a delta neutral trade on there, and they can make money. They could hold carries and do stuff. But since Dodd-Frank, they're not. They got to find other sources of income, and trading is not one of them, and they're getting crushed.
Well, quite honestly, banks need to go back to being essentially utilities. I don't think it's wise what we have in this country, where since the financial crisis of 2007, 2008, the large banks have only gotten larger.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's absolutely insane. We're owned by them, and the amount of money that they spend on lobbying in D.C. is absolutely extraordinary. I mean, I got 3 banks on my screen. Bank of America is getting slayed today. Goldman is getting beat up again. Wells Fargo is net positive. I mean, Wells Fargo, I don't know if you saw the CFO who was on when they released their earnings, but they've got a ton of energy debt out there as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway,
but I guess that's the problem, right? When you can't trade and you got a loan and you need to do stuff, you end up making bad deals. I mean, and no one really thought oil would get this low. It's the same problem with housing. The same problem now. Like, CDOs still trade a lot. A lot of CDOs trading out there. Is that no one foresees it? Like, no one sees it. Like, oil can never go to $20. Why? I mean, not like just like housing can never go down. Just like tulips would always be as worth a house in the Netherlands. Just like pets.com, where people would buy pet food for their pets, would make trillions of dollars. I don't know. Is it just me thinking common sense wise? No one has common sense anymore these days. I mean, I know they're banksters, but Jesus, I mean, what is Wharton teaching these kids lately? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know who they're going to sell this shit to. That's what I want to know. I mean, I'll tell you, the auto companies, I think, are facing a wreck. Oh, they lauded it about how many vehicle sales. What was it, 19 million last year? But you know, they're basically lending money to anybody that can fog a mirror. It's unbelievable. I mean, I drive a car that's a 2001. Now, it was brand new when I bought it, but it ain't brand new now. I got 148,000 miles on it. I ain't buying a new damn car. But, you know, you get all these clowns making 20 grand a year driving around new cars. Holy Christ. And they're going to be paying them. They're still going to be paying them off. They're all getting 7-year loans now. They're going to be paying them off when they're worth like half the value. You think they're going to pay on those things? Come on.
You know,
man.
I guess what? Just screw it. Hold it to maturity, and then who cares? Write it off the books. I don't know. I mean, I think we brought up a lot of points. I mean, there's a lot of bad things out there, right? But I think you have fundamental good companies, and if you can buy them, if they're gonna sell them out with everything else, dude, if they're gonna blow up Johnson & Johnson, I want to be in there. If Johnson & Johnson's gonna break up that company, if Procter Gamble's gonna break that company up, I want to be in there. 3M's not talking about it, but shit, if 3M decided to break up every single part of that company, I'd get ultra long it, because that's over. I mean, there's a lot of value in 3M that's beaten down.
I mean, there's real product there, you know. It's not it's smoking mirrors. Anyway, Muck, anything else you want to cover today? It's I'm so disgusted. Actually, the market, by the way, has turned around. We're now +9 in the SPOOs, in the cash market anyway, and the Dow's up 105. You know, and it was almost negative. So interesting.
The last thing I have to say is, look, if you think it's all doom and gloom and you think everything's gonna go bad, load up on that McDonald's, load up on that Ross Stores, load up on those Dollar Trees, Treehouse Foods, great company. Great company. They make you know, a lot of the signature stuff for Albertsons and like places like that. Great company. You know, does great in recessions. You know, pick up that. If in your heart of hearts you think that we might be heading, you know, turn this around, then you want to get long. You know, the Apples, the Disneys. Still don't understand why Disney's wrong. You know, I wrote a little thing in our chat room that if ESPN pulled a Netflix and went off cable and asked people to pay $20 a month for all of the ESPN channels and everything, I don't think anyone wouldn't pay it.
Yeah, but here's the problem with that though, Mark. Right now, under the way that the U.S. is structured, the cable market is structured, every customer that signed up for DirecTV or Time Warner or whoever else is paying them a fee. They get paid what, $6.33 for the ESPN logo. So you have a lot of people that aren't sports fans, not you or I, that actually watch the network. We're being subsidized, and that's a lot of money to come off of. Now, what's happening, what they're facing is that people are just cutting the wires, saying, I don't need live TV. I don't know. They don't watch sports. They don't watch news, or they get it on the internet. And they're just cutting the cord.
I guess my last take is go long WWE. We got the Royal Rumble coming up on Sunday. If they don't mess this up, it could lead to a huge WrestleMania, which generally brings, you know, a $3-4 pop into the stock. So you're looking at around 19, almost getting to 20.
Is it at 15 and change?
It's last time I looked, it was around 16. I'm gonna pull it up right now. But WrestleMania this year, it's 16. I got 1602. Yep. This year it is in Jerry's World in the heart of Dallas, and they're looking to hopefully do over 100,000 people. So if they do that, I think the network that they have can do Netflix kind of numbers. So you know,
you and Wes will be watching. I won't be, but you and Wes.
I will. Me and Muspet will be watching it. We wholeheartedly love it. But as you know, if they mess it up on Sunday, I'm gonna be shorting it on Monday. If they don't, then I'm gonna be buying upside calls on it on Monday. That's
Sounds
where I'm
good.
in.
Well, Mark, thanks for coming in. Let's try to do it again next week.
Yep.
We'll see where we're at. Hopefully, volatility will keep up like this and make an intraday a treasure. Interestingly enough, those SPOOs that I sold, now the SPOOs are up like 12 points. It's unbelievable. It just bounces around. You got to take profits when you can get them. I'm thinking about going short again, but I'm gonna be patient. Anyway, thanks so much, Mark. Be well.
Be well.
Thank you, everybody.